What hurts more, the blow from an enemy or the silence of a friend? Think about the worst humiliation you've ever witnessed. Maybe it happened in the schoolyard, in the office hallway, or even within your own family. Now answer. Did the pain come only from the aggressor's words or also from the averted gazes, the mouths that stayed shut, the people who were there and pretended not to see? That silence, that complicit neutrality, has a name: indifference. And I'm going to prove to you that indifference is the most corrosive and perverse form of human cruelty. It isn't declared hatred, it's the void, the total absence of empathy that allows every kind of cruelty to thrive. Let's go back to that classic bullying scene, because it perfectly illustrates this mechanism. A young person is cornered. The aggressor lashes out with insults. The pain on the victim's face is obvious, but what amplifies that pain to an unbearable level is the chorus of silence all around. Classmates stare at the floor. Some whisper but don't speak up. Others give awkward laughs under peer pressure. Not one of them raises their voice to say, "Stop." Not one of them offers a look of support. They are the audience that, by not reacting, makes the spectacle of humiliation possible. They are living proof that the worst in humanity is not the one who throws the punch, but the row of people who watch and turn their heads away. Why is indifference so destructive? Because it is the seed of dehumanization. You are only indifferent to what you don't see as worthy of your attention or compassion. Holocaust survivor and writer Elie Wiesel said it best: "The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference." Think about that. Hatred, as terrible as it is still a form of recognition. It's energy directed at you. Indifference is not. Indifference is erasure. It's as if you simply don't exist. Being treated like a ghost, like an invisible object, is one of the deepest forms of loneliness and psychological annihilation a human being can experience. And indifference isn't confined to the schoolyard. It's a virus that spreads to every corner of adult life. At work, it's the colleague being worn down and humiliated in meetings, while everyone else keeps their eyes on their documents. No one stepping in. It's the culture of "not my problem." It's watching a brilliant coworker being sabotaged by the boss's favorite and staying quiet because you don't want to get involved. It's the person systematically excluded from important emails and team lunches, and you, noticing it, do nothing to include them because that's not your job. This strategic silence is one of the most common forms of passive violence in corporate environments. Indifference hides behind anonymity. People spill hatred as if they were smashing pixels on a screen, not flesh and blood human beings. The lack of immediate consequences numbs our empathy. We share memes mocking someone's misery. We like jokes at the expense of the vulnerable, all with a healthy dose of, "Come on, it's just a joke." It's not. It's indifference training us for cruelty. In public spaces, it's the person collapsing on the subway while the crowd forms a circle from a safe distance, phones out, but no one approaches to help. It's the normalization of homelessness, where a human being becomes part of the urban landscape, an invisible piece of furniture we automatically step around. And in relationships, indifference takes on its most intimate and painful form: the silent treatment as punishment, the emotional neglect of someone physically present but completely absent. It's the child calling their parents and only hearing a mechanical "everything's fine" with no real interest. It's the couple who've shared a bed for years but no longer touch, no longer look at each other, no longer ask how the day went. This intimate indifference is a cancer, corroding the very foundations of our humanity. Indifference reaches its most shocking and inhuman form in emergencies and tragedies. Picture this: a truck overturns on the highway, cargo scattered across the asphalt. What do the first people on the scene do? Do they run to check if the driver, possibly trapped and bleeding, needs help? Sometimes, no. Sometimes the first reaction is looting the cargo, stealing someone else's goods, completely ignoring the human being crying out for help just a few meters away. That's indifference at its highest level, where the value of a brand new TV outweighs the value of a life. The same perverse mechanism repeats itself during street fights. Instead of stepping in or calling the police, a crowd gathers. Phones go up not to call for help, but to film a viral video. The victim becomes a spectacle, and the only concern of the crowd is to get the right angle. Making sure someone else's suffering generates likes. At that point, indifference stops being passive and becomes actively cruel, turning tragedy into opportunity, human beings into mere objects of entertainment or plunder. The price of indifference is paid by all of us. For the victim, the damage is the confirmation that they are worth nothing, that their pain matters to no one. It's a loneliness that clings to the soul. For the indifferent, the price is the erosion of their own humanity. Every time you stay silent, every time you look away, a small part of your capacity for compassion dies. You become colder, more cynical, more isolated in your own bubble. And for society, indifference is the fuel of great evils. Corruption grows where "it's not my problem" prevails. Social injustice persists with the thought that it's their problem, not mine. Environmental destruction is the living motto of "after me, the flood." Evil doesn't triumph when the wicked are loud, but when the good are silent and indifferent. But there is an antidote, and it's simpler than it seems, though it demands enormous courage. The antidote is discomfort. It's the conscious choice not to remain silent. It's the daily practice of recognizing humanity in others. It's asking, "Are you okay?" to the colleague who looks worn out. It's cutting off an offensive joke, not sharing a hateful post. It's when passing someone treated as invisible, making eye contact and nodding. It's understanding that the phrase, "if I don't do something, no one will," is infinitely truer and more powerful than the conformist "someone will do something." The responsibility for the social fabric lies with each of us, individually. And that antidote begins with small gestures. At work, it can be you giving credit in a meeting to a colleague whose idea was ignored. It can be you inviting to lunch the person who always eats alone. At home, it can be you putting down your phone and sincerely asking your partner, "How are you, really?" On the street, it can be you buying a sandwich and a bottle of water for a homeless person, and more importantly, handing it over while looking them in the eye and saying, "Have a good day." These gestures are revolutionary. They are the emergency brake against the inertia of indifference. So next time you witness an injustice, no matter how small, and that automatic urge to look away arises, remember the schoolyard scene. Remember that in that very moment, your humanity is being tested. The choice for silence is the choice for cruelty. Choose discomfort. Choose to look. Choose to act. Because in the silent void of the indifferent, it is the cry of the suffering that echoes loudest. And it may be your voice, however small, that becomes the only sound capable of drowning out that cry and beginning to heal the wound. The most important battle of our time is not fought in the trenches of politics or economics. It is fought in the territory of the human heart, in the daily struggle between compassion and indifference. And that battle is waged with every choice we make.